Hey there, this is your fantastic Arav, and I welcome you all to an amazing series of my podcast, Ring the Bell, to alarm our present for our future. We all are facing climate change issues. Some acknowledge these issues and some don't. Those who acknowledge these issues try to get the solutions. In this Ring the Bell series, I will bring you stories of those people who are forerunners in discovering the solutions to make this earth healthy for each and every one of us. So let's get started. Have you ever wondered that there can be just an individual who is a hope for everyone, who can bring a revolution in the society for the betterment, who can lead thousands of people? Today, I'm bringing to you all a story of a change maker, leader, and a hope. She is the founder of Africa Optimism, co founder of the Act-On Sahel movement, and a global climate justice leader. She is working to promote peace through Act-On Sahel campaign in the Sahel region, which is a vulnerable region in Africa. But it is devastated by conflicts, terrorism, poverty, and effects of climate change. She is the voice of Sahel, Kaossara Sani from Togo, a courageous lady who sets the goal to put pressure on the leaders of Africa to redirect the military budget to tackle climate change. She is also raising her voice to advocate for the Yemen crisis, which is the worst humanitarian crisis of the world. Today, we will discuss on the topic of battle for climate justice. Hi, ma'am. Hope you are in a pink of health. I'm really excited to learn more from you in this episode of Ring the Bell.
Hi, Arav. I'm really happy to be here and I'm so proud of your work. And I think that you are also inspiring a new generation of young people and children to get involved in the climate movement and also in many other challenges our world is facing right now. And as always, I used to say I'm really proud of your work. Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks a lot, ma'am. Ma'am, I'm already aware about the hard work you put in to protect our climate, but our audience is dying to listen about your remarkable work directly from you.
As you have already said, I'm a climate activist and I'm also involved in the peace activism. Yeah, advocating for climate action in the Sahel region with the Act-On Sahel campaign. I'm just a co-founder because I'm working with my fellow climate activists from Senegal, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. As you can see, the Sahel region is a region bordered by the Saharan deserts, and we have a Sahel, the septentrional region of Sahel and the meridional region of Sahel. And the Act-On Sahel campaign is more focused on the meridional region where the desert is advancing. And to tackle this problem, the African Union and African leaders decided to set up a project called Great Green Wall. So the project is to plant trees as a wall to stop the advance of the deserts. Unfortunately, last week the project was supported by UN and many other great organizations who support the project with, I mean, 14 billion of dollars. And I hope that with this money, many people will be empowered, especially youth and women. But I still have to fight with my Act-On Sahel team those who are in Senegal, in Mali, and Burkina Faso, we still have to work hard because I'm running a petition where I'm asking our leaders in Africa, especially the Sahel region leaders, to redirect their military budgets and tackle climate change because there is no peace without climate action, and in the region, conflict is escalating, violence is escalating because of the effects, the impact of climate crisis. Those who were farmers and herders, who were brothers and they were living in harmony as family before. Now they can't live like that because of the scarcity of resources. So if we have to tackle this kind of problem which is turning in terrorism, because when young people don't have access to work, they don't depend on nature to survive. They have to flee to other African countries or to flee to join Europe. And on their way to Europe, many of them used to die, they used to live their lives on the open sea. And we all know that Europe is not ready for to face the refugees crisis. So we have a lot of work to do in the Sahel region, and I hope that as youth for peace and climate action, we will keep working hard to empower people to raise awareness about the situation in the Sahel. And I hope that we will bring many great change. Yes.
It is a bliss for us to know about you and your journey. You are an example for the climate activists all around the world. Ma'am, could you tell us more about the Sahel region and the problems there? How are you tackling these issues with your Act on Sahel campaign?
Yeah, as I was saying, the only one problem in the Sahel region right now is climate crisis, and also the lack of harmony between population, especially farmers and herders. And you can see that terrorist groups are rising like Boko Haram in the north of Nigeria. So with the resources scarcity, population don't want to share their resources in water, in good land. And in the area with the desertification, the advance of desertification and the rising of temperature, things are going wrong. Where the region is losing good land for agriculture. And at the same time, in the Sahel region, more than 80% people are living in rural areas and they have only activity as agriculture. That means that they depend on nature. When it's not raining, that means that they won't have money at the end of the month. When it rains with floods and all their crops destroyed, that means that all their investment is destroyed. So if our leaders can't tackle the climate crisis and face it as a priority in their agenda, that means that they will fail everything. So, as I was saying, I know that we don't have any power, we can't do anything, but the best thing and the first thing we have to do is educate people to raise awareness about the situation in the Sahel region and even in Africa and in the whole world. If people will get involved, that means that they have to be educated first. If our leaders focus on education, and those who are working as grassroots organizations, they try to raise awareness about the situation. I think that we will have many solutions. People will be ready to face the crisis, and together we will stand together as community in solidarity to find solution. Yeah.
You have really highlighted the problems in Sahel, that how lack of harmony, terrorism, inequality in distribution of natural resources, rising temperature is affecting the agriculture in Sahel, which is the lifestyle of the most of the people in Sahel. But I'm sure that your work in Sahel would bring better conditions there. And I think that the governments in Africa need to focus more on environment rather on military. Ma'am, what positive changes your actions have brought to Sahel? What more actions you need to take in Sahel to make it peaceful and reverse the impact of climate change there?
The Sahel region is also one of the most environmental degraded regions in the world, with land degradation and expansion of the Saharan deserts. In the region, the rain is very rare, and sometimes now with the climate variabilities, when it's rain with floods, everything go flush. So, as I'm saying, now the best way to find solution for the Sahel is to educate people, work together in communities, especially with grassroots organization. They need to work in hand and also include the participation of women and youth. It's very important. We can't develop a nation without education and the participation of women. And the best way to go through this situation in the Sahel, I will say, and I will continue to repeat it, is education. If people are not aware about the problem, if you go if you come in Africa, for example, here, many people are not aware about climate crisis, climate change. We are here in Africa least responsible to the climate crisis. We are not polluting the environment. We are not emitting carbon dioxide. Our historical emission is very low, but people still don't know that it's because of carbon dioxide we are facing climate crisis. These people don't even have access to education. They don't have access to electricity and internet. They don't know what is going. The only one way is to tell them, let them know that no, it's not about God or a fatality or something just like that. It's because something is happening somewhere. When rich countries and industrialized countries are keep ignoring their historical emission, if they are keep burning fossil fuels and their banks are keep investing, funding bad climate destroyers companies, that means that we will pay the hard price with conflict, with poverty, with terrorism, and so on and so far. And before to fight that, we need to fight the root. We need to find solution with education. Because, with the Act-On Sahel campaign, we started a project called Seed for Sahel. We raise funds and help farmers in front line of climate change in Africa here. In my country, Togo, even the fact that my country is not in the Sahelian region countries, in Mali, Senegal, and Burkina Faso, it was really successful. But as climate activists, we don't have the tools, we don't have the necessary things to give these farmers to help them to adapt to the climate now. We can only give them seeds, we can only give them maybe financial support with our subsidies. But if they don't know how to put these seeds on the ground with the climate variability now, all their work will be lost. And in Africa, we don't have access to the technology to adapt to the climate crisis. If we don't educate our people, how we can listen to the science, how we can set up this kind of technology to adapt to the climate crisis. If we are keep staying and waiting for UN and rich countries to fund us, to help us plant trees with money, we will keep creating other problem to our population, and that must stop. Yes.
Ma'am, you're truly doing God's work in Sahel by helping out the farmers in the countries of Sahel region. I can predict that your actions will bring prosperity to Sahel slowly but steadily. And you have also stated a wonderful point that to tackle the problems in Sahel educating people, and women participation is the best way. Ma'am, is the government listening to your voice and taking some actions in the Sahel? If not, then what role do you want the African leaders to play in creating better conditions for Sahel?
The Act-On Sahel campaign is still young, very young. Not not yet 1 year, but I'm not sure that anyone is listening to us. Maybe other people from Western countries who are already aware about what is happening and who got involved in the climate movement. Here in Africa, very few people are listening to us, even our leaders. I don't even know that if they know that the Act on Sahel campaign exists. We even don't have any media coverage. But what I know that I'm still working with the Act on Sahel team. We are working together with the petition supported by Greenpeace Africa to ask people around the world support to take their climate action with their name to sign our petition for us. Maybe with this petition, we will have the opportunity to express ourselves, to ask our leaders directly what we want as youth and what we are waiting for them to do. That's all the tool we have right now. It's the petition. And I hope that they will listen not only to me, not only to Act on Sahel campaigners or Act on Sahel team, but also to all those people who are working hard, organization, NGOs, or personal people who are working hard to promote peace, to promote climate action in the Sahel region. I hope that they will listen to them and they will find solution with the participation of other people, not only stay and centralize everything because it's only together we can find real solution to problem and go ahead and move on.
As I always mention, that leaders and policymakers across the world need to take urgent actions to bring back our Earth on the path of sustainability. They need to listen to the voices of the people and fulfill their responsibility of providing us with a better environment, which is a basic right.
Ma'am, is that political instability and lack of vision of the politicians leading to such climate and social crises in Africa?
I think that it's a very good question. It's the political instability and lack of vision of the politicians leading to such climate and social crises in Africa. As I'm saying, there is a problem of education, not only political vision. Yes. Before to do politics, before to understand politics, you have to be educated. Before to vote for someone, you have to understand for what or for who you are voting. If you want to vote to someone who will lead you tomorrow and you don't understand for what you are voting, or you just vote for, yes, I have to vote, it's my duty. That means that you are selling your future, and that's what we are seeing here in Africa. Most of people don't have any political education. They don't know that when they are voting for someone or a leader, they are giving him their entire life and future. And today, most of African leaders don't have the climate as priority in their agenda. And that is what is hurting me very hard. In here in Africa, we are less responsible to climate change. We are paying the price. And at the same time, our leaders are ignoring the problem. They must stand. They must fight for our rights because the rich and industrialized countries are cheating on us with the climate change. It's worse than colonialization. It's more worse than imperialism, the climate change to Africa and to global south. And the fact that our leaders are not taking it serious is a big problem. So when people don't have political education, they don't know for who they are voting. If you have to vote for someone who don't care about the climate, who don't have any climate agenda, anything to protect the nature, to protect the climate, and you are voting for this person, do you think that your life or your future will be better? No, people don't know that. And we can only say that it's a political problem or our leaders are ignoring this problem. They are educated. They know what is happening. And if these people don't care, that means that there is no pressure under these people. Population are there, they are ignoring the crisis. If you come maybe in some village in Africa, here you see why the temperature is rising. Maybe someone will tell you that it's because of God. Maybe God is hungry. That is why the temperature is rising. That's why the sun is shining. That is why the heat is too much. If you don't educate people, if people don't know for who they are voting for, if they don't know the impact of their votes in the future, we can't accuse anyone. We can't say that leaders are ignoring to take their action. They know well their duty. They know that it's urgent. They know that it's very important to take climate action. But there is no pressure behind them. If you go to Western world with the Friday for Future movement, Extinction Rebellion, and so on and so far, because people are getting out, they are tired to be in the silence and they know what is happening. They know what will be this impact in the future. They are aware. They are educated politically and in all other dimension of life. So as always, I will repeat, Africa have a problem of education. I think that the best thing right now to do is to invest in our education here in Africa. Maybe prioritize also the climate crisis problem and let children, students learn about the climate crisis in schools. There is nothing like that in our school here in Africa.
You have well said that the main reason is the lack of education along with the political instability because education affects our political opinion, which is important to vote the right leader. And if we vote the right leader, then we are voting for the right environment, we are voting for a right future. Ma'am, apart from the problems of Sahel, what other issues are you dealing with or working for in different places in Africa?
In Africa, apart from the problem of the Sahel region, before to launch the Act-On Sahel campaign with my friends and fellow climate activists from Sahel region, I was working to raise awareness about climate change and plastic pollution in schools. I used to go to schools and tell about the climate problem. I used to raise awareness about it. And I was working with free children, those who are homeless here in Togo. And I was passionate from the beginning about education, about the climate education. I strongly believe that every solution has its roots in education. And apart from the Sahel campaign, that's what I'm doing. And even maybe I will keep doing more things than that because last year I was working to find books about climate change, about environment, about animals which go to extinction. I was working with French institute here who provided me some books, and I used to donate it to schools for education in different school. And I think that I will keep doing that and also focus on the petition of Sahel region. So that's all I can do for Africa right now. I don't have money, I don't have power, I don't have a big influence, but when you educate people, what I have learned in my mission to educate especially children is that when you tell them about something, they will never forget. And sometimes when I'm passing some student or some kids see me, they used to say, yeah, she's the one who come in our school and tell us about this, about that, talking about plastic pollution, how plastic is dangerous for ourselves, for the environment, for everything. They keep it in their mind and it impacted them, and they will grow up with this mentality that they have to protect their nature. And I prefer that in every country, especially in Africa, in the global south, we focus on education. We let our children, our students, no matter how aged they are, we let them know what is really happening. How I know it's not easy to tell a kid that your future is in danger because of some fossil fuel companies or corporation. But we have to tell them what is going on. They have to understand that, for example, plastic pollution is dangerous for our environment. It will change their habit and their behavior toward nature. It will help them respect nature. And I'm really passionate about that, and I hope that I will impact many, many, many people through education and through my awareness in schools about climate change and plastic pollution.
Your ability to focus and learn about many issues at the same time makes you a true leader in this field of climate and social activism. This ability inspires me a lot, as well as our audience, to ensure climate justice. I think that even if you don't have power or money, you can change the world if you have a big heart.
and a dedication to do something. Ma'am, how can we ensure that climate justice is received by each and every one of us?
Yeah, the term of climate justice is an ambiguous concept in the climate movement itself. First, it starts with race, race, and I can't blame racism in the climate movement, but I know it's also a fact in the climate movement that it's delaying many things in the movement. But when we are talking about climate justice, we need to focus on rich people, rich countries, rich and industrialized countries when we are talking about climate justice. How can you talk about climate justice if climate accord, if climate rules, or if the so famous Paris Agreement have no sanction? That means that as a country in the Paris Agreement, you can do what you want. Yes. And the best example is the President Donald Trump who dare to leave the Paris Agreement. That means that it's nothing for him, and any other country can do that. And at the same time, what is happening? It's affecting countries like mine. It's affecting African countries. It's affecting countries in the global south who bear nothing in any responsibility in this problem. And rich countries, and industrialized countries are keep ignoring their historical carbon emission, and they are even keep producing what is affecting the global climate. And that is unfair. How can rich countries pretend to be fair to us? They pretend to do everything for climate justice, and at the same time they are eating the Amazon rainforest. If you take Europe and USA, they are eating this forest for nothing. You can't say that you are protecting your own. You can't just pretend to say that, oh, in rich countries we will protect nature, we will not cut down trees, and at the same times wood companies from rich countries and industrialized countries are coming to the Amazon rainforest to cut down trees for their well-being in rich countries. How Chinese companies can come in Africa and destroy our tropical forests for their well-being, and at the same time these countries will tell you that they are protecting nature, they are for climate justice. No, this is not climate justice. If rich countries have to come and contaminate the water of indigenous people in the Amazon, that means that they are unfair. If you have to live, about climate justice, the problem is to ask those who are living in this area, in these rich countries and industrialized countries, in these privileged countries, if they are ready to leave their privilege to be brave for us. We Black people, brown and indigenous people, not only black people living in African countries, but also black people who are living in rich countries and brown color people who are living in rich countries. If you go to USA, those who are suffering from pollution are people of color, poor communities. They are those who are really suffering. If rich people or those who are living in this kind of privileged countries can't change their behavior toward nature, if they can't stop their overconsumption, if they can't stop their habit the way they are living before, if they can't change it, that means that there is no climate justice. I'm sorry. It will just be something we are talking about. The climate justice concept for me is a matter of action. If you say that you really protect nature and you stop deforestation in your country, then stop it in other people's country. Don't come in Africa or in the Amazon and cut down trees to work with it in your countries and at the same time saying that you are protecting nature. This is really immoral. So uh, I think the concept of justice is in the hand of those who are privileged, those who can really push some pressure on their own government to stop bullying poor countries. We are not poor, we are poor just in words. So I think that it's a concept which need more action from privileged people living in rich and industrialized countries.
You have raised a wise question, ma'am.
That how the world leaders can agree to Paris Agreement and go in other continents, in other countries, and destroy their environment at the same time. And this is affecting the low income countries and the low carbon emitting countries in Africa. I think that the involvement of the policymakers as well as the people is needed to ensure climate justice, which means climate justice can only be attained through climate awareness. Ma'am, we usually get to see the incidents of racial injustice with Africans, how racial injustice is affecting the growth of Africa. And do you think that racial justice comes before climate justice?
I'm not sure that racial injustice is the most or the first thing we have to focus on. Maybe we have a problem with racial justice as we have the same problem with climate justice. But I will prefer that people look at the reality of the world. Who is the race? The race is you and me. The black, the white, the brown, the indigenous, and so on and so far. I don't know if we have green or yellow race. Sorry. But we are the race. The real problem of the race injustice is not in the climate movement for me. Maybe sometimes those who are white, their voices are more privileged, their voices are always in the front line, are covered more than those who are really living in uh, most affected countries. Maybe we think that they are ignoring our voices. Imagine you in India as Arab. You are promoting everything for the climate. You are working hard to push pressure on your own government as a brown collar man, right? Those who will
Yes.
empower you, those who will support you, and those who will raise your voice are not black, they are not white, they are your own people, right? If you take
Yeah.
the media, they are those who need to cover your story, to tell your story to the whole world that there is someone in India who is working hard for the climate, and the whole world need to know him. Our countries don't need to wait for Western countries to empower us, to raise our voice, to cover our story. Are you in the same vision with me? I don't know if you agree with me, but that's what I'm saying. So, in the case of media, we can say that Western media are not amplifying our voice. It is the responsibility of our own country, our own people, our own race to do that. And also, when we talk about corruption in the climate concept, corruption, capitalism, it's affecting our planet, it's affecting our present and the future of the next generation. And what? It's not about race. Brown people are corrupted, black people are corrupted, white people and so on and so far. We are all corrupted. So in terms of climate, I prefer that we talk about race supremacy, ideology related than white supremacy. Maybe talking about white supremacy will be talking about segregation in the US, maybe in the US society. But in matter of climate, no, I'm not agree with that. If indigenous people in the Amazon rainforest are saying their river contaminated, it's because some people in rich countries, maybe they are white, they come in their countries, in their area, and they work with the authority, those who have the power in these countries or in this area. They work together in complicity and destroy these people water. So if we are talking about climate, let us talk about rich supremacy. Even here in Africa, it's the same thing. Even in Asia, it's the same thing. In Europe, in USA, and so on and so far. Capitalism, greed, and corruption is destroying the planet. Thank you.
I totally agree with you, ma'am, that racial injustice and climate injustice are equal and are a huge problem in our society. You have said that we are just one race. But I believe that the divisions created by some people is leading to race supremacy, which is in turn leading to racism. The 2015 meta analysis found that racism is twice as likely to affect mental health than physical health.
BIPOC reported experiences of racism.
Also experienced mental health issues like depression, stress, emotional distress, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, and suicidal thoughts.
Irene Khan has beautifully quoted,
There can be no peace without justice and respect for human rights. This means that social justice and climate justice must go hand in hand. Ma'am, what help do you want from the people and how can they help you in building a new Sahel?
The best help I want for people is support. When I mean support, it's moral support. It's not only financial support. There are many things we don't need money for before to change things. I need them to keep supporting me the way you and other many amazing people are doing. Support us morally, give us more strength mentally, and when we feel upset, when we feel everything going wrong and bad, if we see people around us empowering us, giving us more strength to continue, I think we will never give up and our lights will not be, we will not close this light or get it off. It will be keep on for all the time we are seeing people around us supporting us, giving us advice to continue. And for now, the best thing I need is to keep sharing the petition until I reach my goal, which is 10K. If I have this support, I think that it's already a victory for me. Yes.
Your remarkable actions are surely making a way towards a new and a better Sahel, which is peaceful and relaxed from the climate crises. It is a pride for me to discuss on a battle for climate justice with a star like you. And thanks a lot for apprising us about the problems in Sahel. I would say that climate justice is our basic right, which we do not inherit right now. And it's our responsibility to take it back from the hands of those who are responsible for causing the climate crisis.
Okay, thank you, Arav. I'm really happy to share all these point of view of mine with you, and I hope that it will empower more people and it will make and bring many change. Thank you.
thank you all for listening to this episode of Ring the Bell podcast. Hope it has been an amazing experience for you and would have found your takeaway from it. I feel nothing is perfect, but we should keep trying to make things perfect. So, if you feel I should add more sugar or salt to my podcast, do drop in your suggestions at rofsaid888 at the rate gmail.com. Till then, hasta luego.